Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of MTG Arena Run. I'm gonna be very honest with everyone, this is the third time I've tried to record this deck. If you've been reading up on deck reports on how people have played the Mythic Championship recently, you'll find that a lot of people have said that this deck, Is It Drake's, is considered to be one of the worst decks for the meta. And to be fair, I can understand why. I guess I wouldn't have to redo this video for the third time if it was the case, but let's see if I can make through with this one. I've had to make a lot of changes for a lot of different matchups. A lot of things that I used to think were correct no longer hold true. But without further ado, let's see how we go about with it. So first off, we're gonna take a look at the deck list quite a bit. We're not running the full 4-4-4 of our Drakes. We're only running 3 of each, and we're keeping 1 copy of Niv Mizzet on the main deck. I've realized that it's not so much about trying to drop Drake after Drake. It's about trying to drop a Drake, keep it, and try to keep it alive, or drop a Drake and keep some backup on the background. The deck has several weaknesses, basically other sweepers, spells you can't target. It actually goes to show that for all the hype that's been around blue can actually be kind of narrow. So I've had to make several concessions on the deck list. First off, the op's still here, kept the Bane Fire for the control matchup. 4 copies of Quench. This is mostly for the early game because I don't have much, and I'm gonna get run over easily by aggro. That said, I would like a better counter spell, but a 2 mana, this is probably the best I'm going to get all around. I've tried Disdainful Strokes, but there are a lot of 3 mana spells that I need to counter also, so that goes under the radar. Blink of an Eye, at first I thought it didn't matter, then it actually mattered, up to the point where I'm actually keeping 2 of them in the main board and another 2 on the side. It's 1 copy is Search. Mission Briefing, this is pretty much for game 1, way to reload on the stuff I've already cast. Probably will side this out game 2, game 3, but for the most part, this is an interesting backup to have for in the first game. 2 copies of Lava Coil, I have another 2 on the sideboard. I used to have Lightning Strikes, but those I cut out altogether. There are still Shocks in the sideboard though. Let's see, yeah, Shocks are still in sideboard. Other 2 I mentioned earlier. I'll come back to the rest of the sideboard. 2 copies of Fight with Fire, another way to reach the end game. Basically, if hopefully we hit enough to bring our opponent down to 10, then we just nobody really expects the Fight with Fire, and nobody expects the Fight with Fire with expansion copying it, so that's a full 20 if I get worst case scenario if the game gets really long. Single copy of Ionize, I could use more, but this is the only one I got. 2 copies of Chemister's Insight, it's something to do on turn 4. Single copy of Ral. The deck I normally run has 3 copies of this, but the more I think of it, especially if I'm running Terramander, 1 copy is probably the correct way. I went back up to 25 lands. So I mentioned the Shocks. Water Knot, this is a concession to the Gates deck, and some decks where with really big creatures. This is a good way to answer threats that I could not counter or burn out. Single copy of Beacon Bolt, again for creature matchups. 3 copies of Syncopate. Usually if I lose 1 game, I sideboard these immediately since I'm on the play. Single copy of Entrancing Melody, again another concession to Hydroid Krasis. Definitely, if you can have a second one, go for it. But that's pretty much the deck as it is. I always have a love-hate relationship with this deck now. It would always work until the moment I click this button, the moment I pay the money in, and the moment I select the deck. As soon as I select this deck, things go downhill from here. And as I said, this is the 3rd time I'm doing this video. Previous times it's literally been a wash. But I did learn things along the way. Hopefully, all the things I've learned from that point, I can put to good use now. It also shows that there's a bit of a dichotomy between the queue matchup and ranked play. Decks seem to vary very differently. Or maybe it's because I've been losing a lot. I guess it'd be interesting if they have a queue that's also ranked, but it would discourage people from playing it if they see the rank go down, I suppose. Actually, that's an interesting thought. Would you rather that these queues have would you rather that these queues have ranking implications or not? As for this hand, my only legitimate play is Chemist's Insight. Our opponent took a mulligan, so I'm willing to take one. Okay, this one's a bit scary, but hopefully I did put more islands than mountains, so I'm willing to keep this one. I forgot to check if our opponent mulled the second. Oh no, he didn't. He kept the 6. Nice. Unfortunately, that has to go to the bottom. Worst case scenario, I can expansion something, but I might already be cursed at this point. Reading pool. Okay, everything's coming up Millhouse, not in a good way. Let's see if this is the Sultai matchup or if this is the Gates. Okay, so currently it's pure Simic. And currently I got nothing. Could use a third land at least to be able to burn something out. I'm not copying Opt. If it was Growth Spiral, I'd definitely copy it. It would be worth a shot. Let's see. Opponent's got his third lands. All Simic right now. There's an Opt we can't play. Turn that off. Opponent's probably gonna play Growth Spiral. This is worth Growth Spiral expanding. Come on, give me a land. Okay, good. So we'll let that resolve. But it looks like our opponent's straight Simic for now, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Also, have no idea what our opponent... Okay. This might be Bant or Teamer. Now, unfortunately, I can't counter this one, but I can see a Nexus of Fate in my future. So I need to know what the third color, what the removal color is. I do know that I just drew a dead card. I could play this just for the sake of playing it, but I'm gonna just go and... I'm gonna pass for now. Need to see what our opponent's up to. If it's another Wilderness Reclamation, it'll be a good reason to hold up Quench. Yes, it is... Okay, opponent's tapping. And unfortunately, he has enough mana that if it's a Nexus, I can't get out of it. So I'm gonna let it pass. So he's got Nexus, but I don't see what else he has so far. So I need... Okay, 6 mana. None of it... No white, no red. That's what I need to see. Okay, he's trying to tap again, so he probably got another Nexus. This is the case... I'm suspecting our opponent's win condition is one huge Hydroid Crisis. So... We'll let that... So that's probably the case. He's played 2 Nexi in a row. What's still possible? Okay. Tempted to play Ral, but I can force... You know what? I'm just gonna play the Ral. I need to see what he has here. Does he have Sinister Sabotage? Does he have all sorts of counter spells? He's got the Sinister Sabotage. So we know he has counters of his own. I still have no idea what his win condition is. Other than Hydroid Crisis. That's pretty much the only win condition I can think of. So, I'm willing to play Enigma Drake now. It's probably gonna eat another counter spell. Basically, if I can... Okay, that's not bad. If I can make him keep playing counter spells, that's okay. But the important case in point now is okay, that's not worth countering. So the only sweeper I can think of here now is Reverse Rebuke. Road Spiral, sure. So he's just drawing into cards, probably trying to draw into another Nexus. That said, yeah, he definitely has the mana to, if he leaves at least one untapped. Okay, he's skipping that, so that means he doesn't have it. So I'm just gonna keep pinging him for the next 10 turns, I suppose. Or at least until he has a win condition of some sort that I can figure out. Okay, can't counter that, so opponent's got even more mana now. Thankfully, he can't cast Hydroid Krasis with all this mana. He can still cast Nexus of Fate, though. That's the bummer part. What's also interesting, I'm also curious, what exactly does our opponent have? I could just play another to bait whatever he has out. After all, I only got one legitimate response here, so I might as well just play it out. Force our opponent to use up his other counters. There you go. So the fight with the Bane Fire Plan is legit. The fight with Fire Plan, not so much. One has a way to draw cards. So you can actually you can float the mana, sack this to draw more cards. Yeah, might as well just float it all. And then if you got nothing, oh no, he's tapping it down, so he probably has something good. Okay, this is 13 mana. Okay, sacking draw cards, he's 8. Plus 6, this is 14. So there's one Nexus, gonna let that resolve. At this point, I'm literally not going to counter any of his Nexus of Fates. I'm just gonna counter the win conditions. I'm just going to ignore Nexus of Fate. There's a Hydroid Krasis, that one I'm countering. He might have a second Hydroid Krasis. But nothing I can do at that point. Okay, here comes Nexus of Fate. So if this is his only win con, we can work around it. No, he has to float. Okay, he has to float mana if he's gonna try to draw cards. He will definitely do that. Nexus? I think. Oh no. Okay, he's just gonna float even more mana. I really need to figure. How do I side? Usually it's easier for me to sideboard against this one, but since he has his own counters, it does make it harder. Nexus? No Nexus, okay. So we're up to 6 mana. I'm gonna swing first. I'm gonna play the Crackling Drake. It's probably gonna get countered by Sinister Sabotage number 3. Oh wait, Frilled Mystic. That's also another possibility. I expect him to sideboard those in. But that's it, end the turn. So I'm expecting Frilled Mystics as well. Can't just be Sinister Sabotage. So there's a search for Ascanta. Wilderness Reclamation number 3. So he might have drawn into a Nexus of Fate by now. Yeah, he did, since he's already floating mana. It probably means he has more than one. So I'm gonna... There's a Nexus. Let that resolve. So I guess that's the only one he has. He's just playing around Quench. Well, now he can start drawing things around with Search. There goes one Roots. Still a ways away from getting enough mana to burn our opponent out. He I think he's going infinite. That's why he's dumped the Root Snare. At 30 something cards, I guess it's reasonable. Actually, I'm going to just play the opt right now. It might make him play faster. So second being fire. Yeah, sure, why not? So if for any weird reason he whiffs and he lets himself get hit, we win. So he's gonna dig. He's gonna keep digging for this. I'm just gonna wait to see if he's got Crisis or... Okay, precog. He'll cast that on his own turn. Yeah, this is the deck where you want precog. Unscott Nexus again. Okay. Okay, or is he gonna just take one turn at a time? Oh, Chemist's Insight. Okay, he's gonna draw cards. And cast Nexus. Yeah, this is basically just getting information. We know we lost this game at this point. But we still got 2 more games on our... in the belt. Where's the 4th Wilderness Reclamation? Definitely... So the plan is to have Blink of an Eyes, more counter Blink of an Eye, more counter spells. We ditch the Lava Coils for sure. He's got his own Blink. That's interesting. Still waiting for him to play his big threat so that so I can concede right then and there. Well, the Blink is important to at least get through this one. Will Spiral. Still digging. Just waiting for him to play that one big Crisis. I would have blinked the other one. It's the one that's untapped. Don't tell me he legitimately only has 1 copy of this. I'm certain he has more if he's still playing. Only 23 cards. Just I'm literally just waiting for him to play the next copy. He hasn't played any white at all, so no Teferi at all. No Teferi. He got his bounce spells. He's dumped his Root Snares because he doesn't need them anymore. Yeah. He's got 1, 2, 3. I think he dumped another one earlier. Okay. So we're basically just trying to get this entire deck list. 4 Wilderness Reclamation, several copies of Opt, several full plays of Opt, Sinister Sabotage, I'm assuming he has the full place of Crisis, especially if you're going the pure Cynic route. 15 cards. No, he can. He could loop, I suppose. Okay, ditch another blink, so that's his third blink. Okay. So this is a true Simic build. Just blink of an eye and whatnot. So there's the larger trace. That's good enough. So he has more than one traces. I'm assuming he has a full playset. So off the sideboard, I'm gonna probably expect Frilled Mystic one. So Entrancing Melody comes in. Water Nuts won't work here. He's got Blink. Syncopates will work. Can keep my Blinks also, I suppose. So Lava Coils go. Mission Briefing goes. Yeah, that's my play. So, yeah, this is not a very good hand against what our opponent's doing, so I'm definitely gonna mull this. This is slightly better because of the Ionize. I'm definitely doing that. I'll have to keep the island. So, turn on Steam Vents. So I'd like to at least get one game off this guy, but I don't expect that much. Okay, so we got opt back up. Probably gonna just iron. Actually, I might just go. Okay, Growth Spiral. Is this worth ionizing? It buys us turns, but it doesn't answer Wilderness Reclamation. I'm gonna. Probably a bad idea, but what the heck. Let's see if he actually. He probably has third mana. Yep, and he's taking damage for it too, so. Not too shabby. I think he took the damage on the assumption I might play Crackling Drake or some sort of Drake. So there's another opt. I'll keep that on top. No, I don't want that now. Okay, well. Okay, got Syncopate mana, so that's good. Minister's Insight. I could just Syncopate that one. Doesn't get to draw again, but I really need to save this for Wilderness Reclamation. So, against my better judgment, I have to let him draw cards. Nothing, so do I. Well, at least I got an opt. He's probably gonna just flash back to Chemistry. Oh, Growth Spiral. Yeah, that. Let's see what else he plays. Okay. This might lure out one of his Sinister Sabotage. Or not. Expansion Explosion. Okay, that's whoop. So we can copy our opponent's counter spells. Yeah, so we can draw 3 cards and dome our opponent for 3. Most likely we're gonna just let our opponent resolve the search. No, I'm not gonna copy that. Okay, there's another plan. Okay, not gonna bother syncopating that. So we got the 9 mana if we need to explode. No, if we need to just fight with fire. Reclamation, so X equals 4. Expecting counter backup. Sinister. Here's the expansion. So we're gonna copy that one, then counter his original Sinister. We get to... okay. Probably not. Going for this now because the moment our opponent lets up, we just Bane Fire. It does mean he's free to do a second Wilderness Reclamation, but he's only got one trigger. Well, he could have a second one, third one in hand. That would be annoying. Okay, he's digging. Try digging for Nexus. No, Chemister's Insight, so here comes the Nexus. Yeah, there goes the Nexus. Okay. Yeah, opt for good measure. So given the mana we have, we know we can burn our opponent even if he goes Hydroid Krasis. It's just a question of Blink, okay. Chemister's Insight. Trying to draw into Nexus. He probably has it. Here's the Nexus again. Opponent's probably digging for Wilderness or Nexus. Gets opt. Likes what he sees, that's a problem. Probably second Wilderness. No, third Wilderness. I already countered the first. Oh no, he's letting it pass? He should at least float the mana so he can use Azcanta to hopefully dig for a Nexus. So he's got a ton of cards. Yeah, he's gonna dig now, so he doesn't have it quite yet. Yeah, he got it. So it's not quite over yet, but it's gonna take a while, guys. So this, I really. He discarded the Blink. Yeah, it's dead. It was a dead card at that point. Discards Negate, discards Blink. Hog. So searching for Nexus. My fear is he gets 2 copies of Hydroid Krasis back to back. That might be more than enough to go outside the Bane Fire range. If he's digging, that means he... Okay, Blink. So he's gonna float that one because he can still Chemister's Insight if he needs to. Nexus of Fate. This is gonna take a while. Thank goodness it's only one Wilderness Reclamation trigger. also ditching cards. There goes the Crushing Canopy. He's going for broke at this point. He's down to 19 cards, so it's very easy for him to dig for a Nexus. That's the only caveat. Second Wilderness Reclamation, that's a problem. He can now start It's gonna be so close. I don't know if he's gonna be able, if he'll slip up or not. Yeah. He's gonna. Nope. He should activate this. There you go. Time check. Well, it's not too bad. Okay, at least he got those. He's got enough mana to. Guess what? Digging next side, but he hasn't played the Hydroid Crasis. He's trying to draw it into it naturally, I think. It's easier to draw into it if you start sacking the Memorials to Genius. We were so close to the odds of our opponent whipping badly, like having all four stuck at the bottom, preposterous. All he has to do is actually just not cast all of his next side, just keep one in hand. And we know he has he has tree. And he's digging for, guess what, number 4. Yeah, this one's gonna take a while. It's pretty safe for him to cast his win condition at this point. And he's gonna just ditch one with Chemister's Insight. So here comes the Hydroid Crasis. And let's see, with 4 extra turns plus, that's enough to seal the deal. He just has to keep swinging every time. Don't tell me he hasn't drawn it yet. He could not have sided it out. It's gotta be in his hand already. Well, he's sacking to draw cards, so we know it's kind of there. It's got 4 extra turns coming up, so, and I'm tapped out. It's quite safe already. I guess our opponent might be showing off, but I'm still waiting for him to actually cast. The reason I'm actually waiting for him to cast the win con is because there's this anecdotal story of a pro tour way back in the day. Basically, what happened was, after sideboarding, one player sided out 1 copy of his win con, so he was down to 1 copy left. And through the course of gameplay, that copy ended up in his graveyard. And that was his literal only win con, so he had no way of winning. So it took our opponent long enough, but he did cast it. And we know he has enough turns to win. That said, going back to that matchup, the opponent didn't know that the only copy of the win con was gone. He assumed there was still another copy. So what our friend did was he went through the motions of casting all his spells, and he was about to go for it. Premature concede. And it's only after, way after the fact, they learned, oh, he literally had no way to win. He was just storming off. He was just basically casting spell after spell after spell to no effect. Nobody knew that because it's not like the judge can watch you sideboarding. Is this the same opponent? Oh, it's gonna be so fun. Go figure. Oh well. I guess I know how to sideboard now. So definitely Silver Falls first. We will get a turn 2 expansion, so if he does something like growth spiral or whatnot, I'm copying it immediately. Okay, shame we won't get the mission briefing anytime soon. Yeah, this is interesting. Same... No, it's not same opponent. Wait, I've seen this opponent before. Oh. Okay, I remember now. This is Team or Nexus. I think this is Team or Nexus. This might be Team or Nexus, and our opponent has a tendency to play it very safe, so this might take a while. Yeah, but I remembered going up against a Team or Nexus deck. This might be it. Okay. Now, I really wish I had more blue mana. I would like to buy back that quench. Guess it's not happening. So at least we nuked one Wilderness Reclamation. I don't think I can nuke the second one. Pass. Pass. Is he gonna play something? Okay. So I'm looking for blue mana. Okay, got one copy of blue mana. That's good. Fortunately, not enough for me to mission brief. I probably will just Chemister's Insight the Lava Coil. So... Pass the turn. Chemister's Insight thing. No, I'm willing to copy that. I'm not gonna copy it the second time. Okay, more cards I don't quite need. Let's see, 6 mana, one second loader. I'm gonna ditch the mission briefing first. Well, technically I should ditch the lava coil because he's gonna... Okay, play the island. Yeah, definitely need to keep... Guess I can play the Drake. I still have Chemister's Insight. No counter. It's only quite painful that our opponent hasn't really done anything that painful yet. Expecting another Chemister's Insight right now. Fire for 5. Can't counter that. Can't buff that. You know what? I'll let it resolve. Yeah, now I think of it, I probably should have Sheevan Fire instead of Shock. Well, sometimes you could use the double utility, but let's be honest, the fire is there to kill creatures. Can't counter that. Just Chemister's Insight. So I guess I'm going to just fight this with fire. 3, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So I take 1 damage. But this could be a long game. I suppose I could cast my own Nymph. But I now have Quench mana. Still have another Chemister's Insight to burn. My only concern is I think this deck also runs... No, I'm already mixing up... There's so many flavors of Nexus of Fate. There's Soul type version of Nexus of Fate and whatnot. Yeah, I really want to get... It's only 7 mana so far. Well, he could have 10. So I'm just gonna let him play play that part out. Okay, so he whiffed. Well, not quite a whiff, but more of he really didn't have anything. So, what does his kill spells? Sheevan Fire. Okay, this won't get me Quench. But it also means he can't go off either. I'm gonna cast this now. It means our opponent has to find a way to answer it first. Okay, Chemister's casting Chemister's inside. I wouldn't be surprised if our opponent had some sort of fight with fire effect. Yeah, now that I think of it, it really should be Sheevan Fire. The reason like I run Lava Coil over Lightning Strike is I need for it to deal 4 damage. Sheevan Fire does that. Sure, it's more expensive, but kinda have to do it then. Speaking of do it, it's gonna cost 11 just to cast Fight with Fire with Kicker. Also interesting to note that our opponent just passed the turn. Got nothing? Oh, I can't do anything. Oh wait, he's floating mana. Does he have double Nexus? It's gonna be interesting. All the cards that I'm gonna have to discard as a result. Okay, let that resolve. Here comes the first Nexus, I suppose. Oh wait. Explosion for 5. Okay, so I get to... Can't copy that, so I'm gonna just... Yeah, I wish I had one more mana. Then if he tries to go Nexus now, I could at least counter it once. Opponent probably should... Oh no. Well, let's look what our opponent discards. It's got a ton of them. Okay, Goblin Cannonade. Got ourselves a Terramander. Still curious what our opponent's... Sinister Sabotage. So I'm going to copy Sinister Sabotage. He has to have another counter spell, which I can quelch now. There's another Sinister, so let's go mission briefing number 2. Don't want the Arch anymore. Let's keep the Crackling Drake. Interesting counter war. At least I know I can win some counter wars. It's the Nexus war that I have a hard time winning. Also, because I can only activate this once, I'm not gonna activate it until I have enough mana to at least activate it twice. Reasoning is that our opponent showed us Sheevan Fire and Fiery Cannonade. I'm expecting a lot of instant speed removal, though I'm pretty sure they're gonna disappear after this match. Maybe not the Shivan Fire. Okay, opponent's drawing cards. Again, we're gonna have to be really patient here. Source Insight number 2. Resolve. So waiting for our opponent. Yeah, because it's a disaster for our opponent. If we try to pump this only for our opponent to burn it out. Speaking of burn spells, and he's floating 1 red. Trying to say something. Nope, resolve. Comes to Nexus. Oh no, Shivan 5. He might have more than 1. But I have no choice. I have to make him go for it. So at least I'd use up 2 of his cards. Expansion, copying Shivan. That's actually better, so it doesn't draw him a ton of cards. It's also possible that this does not have Nexus of Fate. This is simply going for 1 really large explosion. Who am I kidding? There's gotta be a Nexus of Fate here somewhere. And we know we got Crackling Drake on the waist. Don't expect it to live long. Okay, let's see if we can prosper. There's no counter spell in sight. No burn spell in sight. Okay, let's just pass the turn. Minister's Insight, sure. We did search for a Stompa. Gold Spiral, sure. I'm tempted to just Chemist's Insight now, but I'm gonna wait. One's down to 27 cards. Kinda need at least 1 or 2. I know I can cast enough to have 1 good hit and a Bane Fire to end it. Wilderness Reclamation. Cast that now. Okay, so I don't mind if he kills it. So I just need to preserve the Bane Fire. And connect once. Now, this one is problematic if our opponent indeed has Nexus. Let's do the math here. He's got 4, 8, 11. He's got 22 plus 7. That's 29. Minus 4 from an explosion. So, we know he's got 2 copies out. We're trying to... Let's see. We know he's got 2 copies. Could he have a 3rd copy? If he has a 3rd copy, then I automatically lose. That part can't be helped. So let that resolve. Kinda wish I still had Disdainful Strokes, but those are harder to parse. Use 1 timeout, that's okay. You really should be doing the math to aim at my face. Explosion X equals 19. Yeah, he saved the mana for the quench, so I'm not gonna have it. And it's a search. So Blink won't help. Yeah, that's good. Game. So we were so very close. So our target really should be Expansion Explosion. Unfortunately, all our counter spells are of this type, but we need to put those in. Lava Coils can come out. He probably doesn't have any creatures. Blink of an Ice can stay. In fact, I'm willing to put another blink in. Let's cut one opt. Let's cut both ops. Guess that should be it. I should have enough burn in between. I didn't cut the mission briefings this time because it was good enough to delay our opponent quite a bit. So I was mistaken. It wasn't the Nexus of Fate deck. Although, okay, so turn 1 Terramander. Turn 2 Blink to protect the Terramander. Well, it doesn't protect against Sheev and Fire, but I'll go for it. Okay, some graphical glitches here. This shouldn't be running. Okay, he's gonna snipe that out right now. Which is okay. Now I need to draw lands, because this is not okay. Well, if he plays a Growth Spiral, I'm willing to just copy it at this point. Okay, now we have a problem. Yeah, the turn 1 Terramander was very greedy. Got the third land. I'm gonna pass. Basically, I need to hold up expansion. I'm gonna cancel and wait. I'm gonna wait on it. There. That's why. Bounce it now. I need to draw cards. He's brought in the Rekindling Phoenix on the correct assumption that I would side out my Lava Coils. I could play this, but it does nothing. I can just bounce one more time, I suppose. He's nowhere near the mana for... He's nowhere near the mana for Wilderness Reclamation yet. He's probably gonna just keep replaying Rekindling Phoenix. It misses. Sure. Has... Oh, if he has Lava Coils, then I'm in trouble. Well, so much for the mirror match. I could just choose to block this, but... Okay, now show me the Sheev and Fire. Nope, Rekindling Phoenix. Lava Coil. Okay, nope. So I will play this one. And pass. So there's something interesting about the timing here. I can just cast so I draw a card. Well, he draws first. He's gonna target me. I'm gonna draw Island Lake. Play land. Okay, wait. Because I can then I can draw 2 cards and ping twice. That nukes the Rekindling Phoenix. That does nothing. So ironically, we're both at the same life, although my situation's much worse. I'm literally just waiting for him to attack with Rekindling Phoenix. Can't take out his Wilderness Elementals, Wilderness Reclamations anymore. Wilderness Elemental. Canopy. Can't protect against that. Can't bounce that. Okay, so I think I could try to counter and hope to draw Blink. Wait, I did play 2 Blinks already. The odds of me drawing a 3rd Blink are really low. So I could expand, explode that, but that does nothing. And I still have to deal with the token later. Set that yourself. And I helped our opponent draw cards too, which might be a problem. Oh, wait! Okay. So he has... Okay, he's gonna have to... He has to counter first. So I draw first, nuke the Rekindling Phoenix. And because of the sequence of draws, I get to nuke the token too. So this is very complicated. Still gonna take 5+ damage here. He still has the mana to pay for that, I assume. He targeted me actually. Unless he's going for another crushing. Oh, it's just off. Still gonna take a ton of damage though. Wait, he might have enough to kill it. Wait, he's gonna cast that. He's gonna draw another card. Oh, he's going for the kill on this one. Okay. Oh no. He changed his mind. So I'm gonna go down to 5. Oh no, he held back. See if he blocks. Okay. That's all I needed. Oh shoot, I hovered too early. We're playing a big game of chicken here. Okay, now it's cast. He gets to ding me for 1. Get rid of Niv Mizzet. And let's resolve. So can't play a land. I want to hold up Ionize. Probably has a ton of support here. I'm just gonna cast a regular Enigma Drake. Basically force our opponent to start having pressure, though at this much mana, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can ding me for 5 with Expansion Explosion. Ditches the Shivan Fire. Kinda interesting. He didn't have to, and he had to wait to kill this already. Unless he has a way to kill me already, in which case, yeah, I shouldn't have played that. Oh, it's got another new. Crushing Canopy. Safety block. He might draw into a counter spell, that's my problem. Oh, he's still dinging that? Oh, he could have a shock, I suppose. Okay, let that resolve. Because I do need to play another blocker. I was gonna kill it the old-fashioned way, so the Crushing Canopy was a ruse. But at least all the damage is going here. And I can still counter. I still get to hit him for 2. He hits me for 1. Yeah, this is very close. Even though I have yet to win a single game off anything here. I have to play that first. Probably gonna get countered. Yeah. Syncopate X equals. Should play this one first, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely a good game at this point. He just cast that once all over. So this is a very interesting take. We did get rid of one Niv Mizzet. We did get rid of from Rekindling Phoenix, so we got that sort of victory. But at this point, I think we're really confirmed that this is the worst deck ever. Well, not quite true. So I'm gonna show some cases where I do actually win with this one. It's gonna be under ranked queue though. That said, we're going to go over deck changes after that episode. When we get to that part. But what are the things that? Because it's very hard. I've already changed as much as I could. I guess I can put dive down back in. The only caveat with dive down is that it's only good for protecting our stuff. So I guess we can cut out the Beacon Bolt and this Entrancing Melody just for that if we suspect our opponent's gonna start putting in removal. But it's a case of where we have to answer so many possible threats and we don't have the resources to answer them. Like we need to Shock and Lava Coil for Mono Blue, Mono Red, Hero of Precinct 1. Water Knot we need for much bigger threats, like any creature from the Gates deck. Lava Coil pretty much for Shalai, an early early Wild Growth Walker. We need the early counter spells against decks that try to play mid to late game, because we can catch them with this. So it's a case of, I guess if we had like a 20 card sideboard, we'd have plenty of room to fit in everything we want. But we can't get them all in this case, so I guess that's it for this episode. I'd like to show you how to adjust the deck, but I've already gone through this deck several times. I guess I'll do it in the part 2, maybe when I got some time to think it over. So, but that's it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. Maybe you can tell me, how did this deck become the worst deck ever? I wouldn't say worst deck ever, but it's basically a deck that used to be quite powerful. It really just doesn't fit the meta anymore. What are things that probably should be added? Like Arclight Phoenix. Do you think we have enough cheap spells to go through that? Do we need more card draw? Do we just simply need more rares, like more nibs, more rals? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again probably a bit soon. I will have to produce part 2 of this quickly. Take care.